What's up, guys? Today we're going to be reacting to a video made by Kira about an MMORPG developer going to prison for fraud due to illegal RMT. So it seems to be like from the first frame here that it's Dungeon Fighter Online. Now, I have never played Dungeon Fighter Online. I think maybe I did try it once, but I didn't really get into it. But I'm not really like a player of the game. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to read about this. Like I have read like a lot of things about RMT. Like usually it's never really a big thing. It's the money involved with RMT is usually not like large scale. Well there are some that do spend like thousands of dollars. But yeah, I'm pretty interested to see what this is about and um just give my general opinion about it. And if you guys play Dungeon Fighter Online, maybe you can help me understand this. Maybe you can give me your insights in the comments down below. So let's dive right in.
Up, friendos, welcome back. Interesting story again today. So Dungeon Fighter Online, probably a game that a lot of you have never heard of. Even if you're an MMO
I've heard about
aficionado,
it.
you may never have heard of this because for whatever reason, Dungeon Fighter Online has never been a big game in the West. But Dungeon Fighter Online is the literal highest grossing video game, according to a wiki anyway, in the world. Dungeon Fighter Online, gross US dollar revenue, $20 billion. $20 billion.
Holy shit.
Next highest is Pac-Man. Imagine that fucker, Pac-Man, 12.8 billion. Obviously that's
Is
adjusted
this
for
even
inflation,
updated?
19 billion. But Dungeon Fighter Online, Korean MMO, it has a very interesting story of how the game was initially created. Not going to bore you with that one, but I have a video on my channel going over the history of MMOs from the very beginning. Didn't really get a whole bunch of views, but I think if you are interested in the genre and games like this that sort of flew under the radar for a lot of people, it's mad interesting where...
So we can already read here. I'm not sure if you guys can read it, but there's already like... Yeah, it looks like they're reprimanding. It looks like an employee of Dungeon Fighter Online is involved with this case, so I'm pretty interested.
Stuff like this came from and how it actually existed. But basically, somebody working for Dungeon Fighter Online was generating gold and selling it as real money trading on the black market, grey market, whatever we're going to call it.
That's
RMT, real money trading. And
I mean, it's one thing for a developer it's one thing for a game company to actually sell currency on purpose, but it's another thing if you're keeping it from, the company itself. You're like generating gold like illegally. That's so bad. Holy shit.
Generated 7 billion gold, or 7 trillion gold, I think, actually, which was then sold for $2.4 million.
What the fuck? 7 trillion gold. That's got to be a total, right? There's no way like one person bought all 7 trillion gold for $2.4 million. I guess that's got to be a total. And the thing is, guys, RMT has always been around since like the old days. It's not a new concept. People are going to RMT. It's impossible to stop, even in games that have no trading. Let's say Genshin, the way they RMT in Genshin is, selling accounts or piloting accounts maybe. So yeah, there's like so many ways to RMT, and like, especially these days with the boom of the internet. So like, it's so easy to find customers for that, and I don't think that's ever really gonna stop. So like, one solution that developers have thought of is blockchain games, right? So I know people are gonna hate me for this, but I mentioned in my previous video, I do play one blockchain game, only one, and that's Arc World. Arc World is basically I'm not trying to advertise Arc World, okay? I'm just trying to explain the game. So it's a blockchain version of Arc Age. And the way that blockchain games quote unquote solve, it's not really solve, but more of like mitigate it, and it's a way to control it, is that it makes RMT like it integrates RMT into the game, So in a way, it legalizes RMT because everything, well, almost everything involves like real money. So you can like sell your like resources for like real money without like repercussions. And the thing about that is, if it's like integrated into the system, into the game, it doesn't really affect the economy in a bad way. So the problem with traditional games is that RMT is something that's detached from the system. So like whenever RMT happens, so what happens is the supply of the gold, the total supply of the gold is affected a lot because either people will bot or then so when people bought for gold, it's going to cause massive inflation, right? So then yeah, and also like the company itself is gonna lose like a lot of profit from like RMT. So basically, so the thing is, I've said this in my previous video. I'm not trying to endorse blockchain games, but I just want people to like not like judge right away because blockchain games have had like a really bad rep because of cryptocurrency, because of NFTs, and I'll probably make a whole other video for that, but no, this is not the video for that. So I'm not trying to say you should I'm not trying to say that blockchain games are generally good. They do have their place, but I don't think they're going to replace traditional games anytime soon. So all I'm trying to say is blockchain games do have their audience. They can exist in the gaming space without interfering too much with traditional games, and it does kind of solve RMT. I'm not gonna lie. I've played Ark World for like almost a year now. It's 11 months now, and they're going to have their first year anniversary next month, September. So yeah, it does kind of solve it because the thing is, like, trading between players outside of the system is still kind of considered legal, but there's less merit to do that rather than just to do it within the system. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Again, this is not an endorsement for blockchain games or Ark World itself. You do you. You play whatever you want. To me, the games like monetization, is blockchain really a monetization? I don't really know. To me, a game being blockchain doesn't make it bad, and it doesn't make it good as well. Like, a good game is a good game. Doesn't matter if it's blockchain, if it's pay to win, or what. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
So we was having a grand old time, and this is interesting to me, at least, because for many years, playing games all the way back in the early 2000s, there's always been rumors of developers generating gold and selling it, generating items and selling.
I mean, I don't think it's surprising because, like I said, back in the day, RMT was a big thing. Like, back in the day, my friends would play Conquer Online. If you guys are familiar with that, like, they would make a lot of money from it. Like, I didn't really get into Conquer. I played another game by the same developer, which was Demons Online. I did RMT a bit in that game. I mostly sold stuff and I also bought stuff, but I wasn't really doing it for like, for a living and all that. I wasn't doing it to like generate like a constant amount of money or something. It was just all for fun. So yeah, let's continue.
In it, specifically in smaller games, if you've ever played some of the sandbox PvP MMOs like Mortal Online, Darkfall Online in particular, Darkfall Unholy Wars, this was a big thing, and I obviously knew a lot of the GM.
So what he said was in smaller games. That's not exactly true. I think RMT is even more prevalent in bigger games, right? Because who's gonna buy? Like, I think more people will be willing to buy gold or something on a bigger, like, more popular game compared to like a smaller and less known game. Like, look at WoW and Final Fantasy 14. Like, these are the top two games of the world for quite some time, and they both have bots, they both have RMT. So like, and like, if we look at the scale of it, they have more bots and they have more RMT than probably any other game out there. It's I mean, it's not. It doesn't go out in the headlines, but if you search for it, they do have RMT. They do have that problem. It's not. No game is free from RMT, basically.
In the game, because I was quite clicked up, I guess, back then in those games, and this was something that people talked about all the time. That people were basically making items and selling them to the real money trading crowd. Just a good old bit of corruption. And we know, for example, that people were doing this anyway.
So yeah, it's one thing for players to be playing normally and then selling those items out for real money, but having an employee of the company actually generating these items or generating the gold and selling them is, ooh, that's a big yikes. Like, holy crap. And he's taking all the profit for himself. Because, like, if you're, like, generating an item out of thin air, that just destroys the dynamic of the game. That's what basically, that's how RMT ruins games, basically, and traditional games. Because, like I said, in blockchain games, it's really different. Because, you know, it's not like, so the thing with blockchain games is people think people are playing and treating the game as a job, but it doesn't really work like that, at least not for the people that do actually want to play the game. There are always going to be people that want to treat games like a job and generate money from it. Like, whether the game is blockchain or not, those people will do that no matter what. And the people that do want to play the game are, you know, they're going to do their thing, whether it's blockchain or not.
Way that weren't developers. I have another video on that where a guy is...
So it might really sorry about this. I might sound like I'm really shilling for blockchain games, but I'm not. So but the thing is, the reason I'm discussing this is because it's the closest comparison I can really, like, you know, compare this to the RMT issue. And like, I'm pretty sure people will bring it up. People will probably bring it up in the comments. So yeah, I'm just putting it out there.
Essentially made a living for like 20 years just hacking MMORPGs. He would log into an MMO, he'd figure out how he could best pack it, edit, and give himself money, duplicate items, things like that. And then he would just corner the market, put everyone out of business because he could sell gold cheaper because he was making it out of thin air, even cheaper than bots could. Yep. And he was selling, you know, billions of currency across these games.
So yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. If you're creating something out of thin air, it destroys the economy and the whole dynamic of the game.
For years and years, and eventually he obviously stopped, and now he is a white hat, apparently. But it's really interesting.
Mas enjoy ang snack time pag may snack
Okay,
kakulitan with
let's
Royal.
watch this. Okay, they're short. They're okay. They're fine.
Thing to see, but it's cool to see. We have a confirmed case here of a dev, presumably gonna go to prison for this, for defrauding his company. I guess, is it fraud? We'll find out. What are they called?
Is it fraud? I guess it's fraud because, number one, he's illegally doing it, and he's doing it for real money. Like, I don't know if, like, what do you guys think? If real money was never involved, do you think it would be a crime? I think it would still be a crime. I don't know.
It seems like South Korea in general is sort of the land where a lot of weird game stuff happens, because as far as I'm aware, they're the first place, I don't think it's happening in the West, where a game developer, multiple of them, have gone to prison for stealing files or trade secrets from another game company, which happened.
Okay, I think he's talking about Dark and Darker, so I'm gonna make another video about that as well, probably tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna be reacting to Kira's video of it as well. So I think he's talking about Dark and Darker here.
When Terra was made, seems like it's all about those MMOs.
Wait, Terra?
People
Really?
love going
Okay.
to prison in South Korea about MMOs.
Okay, I guess he's talking about something else, but yeah, the Dark and Darker issue was kind of like that, but yeah, we're not gonna talk about that today.
Now that is a good coffee. I'd like to inform you of an anomaly that was discovered during our monitoring of DFO's in-game economy and the steps we've taken to address this issue. Some adventurers may be aware of the incident of gross misconduct that happened within the Korea service for Dungeon and Fighter in September 2020. Since this incident, we've been examining and updating our internal security procedures on a regular basis. It is with regret that I inform you that during our monitoring activities, we tracked similar activities within Dungeon Fighter Online. We detected an account that held an unusual amount of a particular item, and upon further investigation, we confirmed that administrative item creation rights had been exploited.
Sheesh.
Before I proceed, I'm deeply sorry for this sudden announcement that understandably comes as a shock to our community. One thing people generally don't tend to understand, and I went through this in the video about the guy who hacked currency in games, when a company, for example, sells currency within their game, it's usually because the player trades something that's generated by the company from the cash shop that is consumed on their account, so can't be traded, and they give the money to the person who bought that, essentially, and that gold was generated from playing the game, so it's not inflationary. This is something that people always miss.
This is what I'm talking about. When a company does sell gold, like officially, it's in their system, right? So like it's not gonna be a problem. But if you generate gold or items from thin air, it's gonna cause like huge economic problems.
It's because they think, for example, the WoW token in World of Warcraft is harmful to World of Warcraft's gold economy.
It's not.
Which isn't, in terms of there's no inflation there. Blizzard doesn't generate gold out of thin air. It comes from a person who earned that gold in some way or bought the gold in some way, but it came from a legitimate generation within the game. When somebody just generates stuff just out of thin air, actual currency or items that can be traded and things like that, that is inflationary, and it literally ruins games. Like, it ruins games really quickly. That's why hacks, exploits, and duplications are way worse in general for the actual average player, because they're going to be the ones who feel the creep of things being worth more money. And obviously, if they're earning the same amount of money, it essentially gets to be where you have to play more to be able to buy the things, and it makes it so other people are forced into doing things like buying gold and things of that nature.
Yep. So that's why, like, I really hate it when there are games out there that I really like BDO. Like, I really love the economy of BDO and how they do their auction house, their market, because it's controlled. It's like 100% controlled by the developers, and like that's the beauty of that thing, you know. Like inflation doesn't really happen. I mean, inflation is natural, but if it's monitored, if the economy is being monitored, inflation doesn't, like, how do I say this? Inflation like comes out in a normal pace, and that's okay because inflation is natural. But whenever you have, like, you know, bots and like these hacks, and then the developers don't even do anything to monitor the situation, like that just pretty much ruins the game. So like one example I can give, so it's PSO2, right? So PSO2, I don't know if you guys have played PSO2, but I have played PSO2 a lot and NGS a lot as well. I have taken a break from the game now, and the game does have bots, and like a lot of activities in the game give the player a lot of currency, and the problem is the developers don't do anything to like counteract that. So the thing with BDO is that the developers, they decide the prices of the items. You can adjust it minus and plus 10%, I think, from the base price, but that's it. You can't like even if it's automatic, it's all, they have like an automatic system to like adjust the prices, and like even if someone does bot, like they can't really how do I say it doesn't really ruin the economy there, because the game has no direct trading. You can only buy from the market, so like you technically can't RMT. The only form of RMT in BDO is when you hire pilots to like pilot your account to farm, basically.
So it actually straight ruins the game on a pretty visible level when people do things like this. That's why it's such a fucking huge deal. So last year we learned that a previous member of the DFO team had misappropriated an operations account used for processing CS requests customer service starting from 2020 to November 2022. The employee exploited the account's administration rights and created items with high gold value. These items were then sold through NPC shops on an alternate personal game account and converted into gold for real money trading. The value converted from these unauthorized items has been confirmed to be near 7 trillion gold. Damn. Immediately after detection, all related administrative rights were promptly revoked. The in-game accounts used for the crime was sanctioned because this is a crime. I'm pretty sure this person's going to go to prison for this one.
Yeah,
and recovery
I
measures were carried out to prevent further distribution of the gold. We reported our findings to the authorities and continue to identify.
Like, in those kinds of cases, I wonder, because it would suck if you're like the buyer. Well, the thing is, if you're the buyer, you're breaking the rules as well. So I guess it serves you right if the gold gets deleted. But it would kind of suck. But yeah, I guess it serves you right if you're breaking the rules, right?
The owner of the game account in question. Although we had been regularly monitoring the game's economy and gold production status even prior to the incident, the gold in question had been masked and stored in the form of items from outdated content. These items were then converted in small amounts over many instances, which went undetected by the monitoring system that was in place at the time. I don't know how their system works, and I know this is like a difficult thing to monitor, and the game's really old, so the chances...
Well, I think even now it's still kind of difficult to monitor because, let's say someone's trading like 5 million gold and like that's something big. You can't really, it's hard to tell. You'd have to look at, the player history, the character history, if they did something weird, like, I don't know, like automatic detection systems usually can't really do it right and have to be reviewed manually most of the time.
So they have a very sophisticated way to track gold, like gold into economy.
Like in Demons Online, for example, we had like a technique to like avoid detection. So what we would do is we would transfer the gold to an alt. We would like make like many alt accounts, maybe 10, 20 alt accounts. Maybe that's too many, but just as an example, we would make like a lot of alt accounts and like move the money from one account to another, because that would kind of like throw the automatic detection system off. So it probably doesn't work for every game, for every anti-cheat out there, but yeah, that's what we used to do in Demons Online.
Me versus gold out of economy and things like that is more slim than some other more modern products that have been developed with this in mind. But this sounds like a little bit of cope that we have all these sophisticated systems, but we just couldn't track the fact that 7 trillion gold came into the system within 2 years, not by legitimate means. I would have thought that.
But the thing is, that 7 trillion is like, it's not like a one-time thing, right? So like it's mentioned here, like it was like the 7 trillion is a sum of like many smaller transactions, right? So like if the amount they trade is like, if it looks legit, then the system probably can't detect it. So like I said, the only way to actually really confirm is to manually review the accounts, right?
Been apparent, but again, if it was done in a very smart way that somebody who worked at the company knew how to evade their detection, that would make sense as well. So the offender's extensive knowledge of internal security systems allowed them to further evade detection for an extended period, as continuous measures were taken to fortify security processes after the KDNF incident. The anomaly was eventually detected. Even so, we are fully liable for the time it has taken to detect the activity, and we sincerely apologize. Owning it, I guess. They're owning it. Legal actions were promptly taken upon discovering the activity last November. Our priority was to notify our community immediately. However, we received legal advice to keep in confidence all information.
So this was actually a last year thing, a 2022 thing, and they just released this publicly now. So I get that there's like legal, there's legal limitations to that. So that's okay. It's fine. At least they solved the problem.
Premature announcement would have affected the proceedings of the ongoing investigation. Yeah, this is completely reasonable, completely makes sense. The community does deserve to know, but you do want this person to face action for what they've done. Is a literal crime, and this game's been going for a long time. It's a mad money generator, obviously, one of the, if not the most profitable game on the planet. So this is totally understandable. One thing I will say is that it seems like the Korean audience is generally pretty good at boycotting things when stuff's handled poorly. I don't know what their reception has been to this because Dungeon Fighter is still very big in Korea, so I can't really comment on that, but it would be interesting to know.
I mean, I don't...
Gusto ko maging strong katulad niyan. Keep trying. Get stronger. Cheese whiz.
I guess
I can't really blame the company for this, right? Because these things happen, and sometimes they can go undetected, even if this can happen to anyone, right? I don't think I can really blame the company for this at all.
One thing we can look at is the rankings for Korea's PC banks, which is pretty good information. Dungeon Fighter is 13th. Oh, so no, it's not really hurt it whatsoever. It's gone down a couple places, but that would also be accounted for some other games coming out, like BDO getting really popular. So this hasn't impacted Dungeon Fighter in Korea, at least on the surface level that we can see. The situation was one that required rapid yet discreet measures, and due to the sensitive nature of the matter, our official notice was postponed until today. The offender has admitted to their crimes during the first trial held in Korea. Consequently, we received confirmation that a public notice would no longer affect the case, which has allowed us to make the announcement. Oh yeah, this dude's going to prison. Big time.
Yep.
I'm truly sorry to our community, especially as this was a meticulously organised act of deceit by a former member of the DFO team. We condemn this criminal activity, and we are taking uncompromising legal action with a policy of zero tolerance. We'll make certain that the offender faces the consequences that befit the severity of their crime. I wonder how long you get in prison for this in Korea. Who knows? I guess we'll find out eventually once this actually concludes. The people who misappropriated trade secrets to create terror, they ended up getting I think the main guy got a couple years. This is probably worse than that, and seems like a more open shot, as well as admitting to have done it. But I don't know how many years you're going to get for doing something like this.
Now I don't know the law about. I don't know how that applies because I didn't study law. And probably I wonder what the weight is for that. Let me guess, maybe 5 years, maybe, I don't know.
My predecessor, who was in charge at the time of the incident, has taken responsibility for this issue, which led to my succession of managing the DFO service. So he's just got a promotion because his manager failed to find the issue. As live director, I'm fully committed to managing our systems and work processes to prevent similar problems going forth. I'm determined to do everything in my power to provide a better game service and to rebuild the trust our community has in us. So we're aware that this incident may have affected the individual gameplay of our users. It definitely has. That sum of money, it definitely would have impacted people whether they know it or not. And have decided the compensation was necessary with our apology. For adventurers who have been playing DFO with sincerity and the best intentions, these items are given not because we expected to alleviate disappointment or mitigate the severity of the incident, but as part of our
Hold on. Decided that compensation was necessary with our apology for adventurers who have been playing DFO. So, what are they? They're not compensating the people who bought the gold, right? They're probably compensating what the economy has become. So it's become inflated so much. I guess I don't know, how are they gonna do it? Are they just gonna delete the 7 trillion gold? I mean, if they do that, how is that gonna affect the economy? I think it's a really tough choice to make, actually. So I don't know.
Deepest apologies for something that should not have happened. And then they just go on to apologize. So this is really, I guess, cool to see, because like I say, I've played MMOs for so long that people have said oh, there's a rogue dev that is in charge of all.
So this is really interesting because people always tell me about the RMT and botting issue. Oh, we should just have GMs, and people don't realize that some of these GMs and developers could be the bad actors themselves. So it's not like a one-to-one solution, I would say. Even that how do I say this? There was a video that Asman reacted. Did I react to that? There was a video that Asman reacted to about this long-time gold seller. Oh no, not long-time gold seller. This long-time GM of a game. Even he admitted that he couldn't he didn't do anything illegal, but he admitted that he kept his server clean for 2 years, I think is what he said, and then he mentioned that it just went so out of control that he couldn't handle it anymore. So I don't think I don't think GMs will really see that. Like the reason games don't hire GMs anymore because they know that it's useless. Like long term, it's useless, and it's a waste of money to do so. So like, how do I say this? And it's even worse if the GMs and the developers, one of the developers themselves, are the bad actors, right? So like, damn. I think the best way they can counteract this is AI. Personally, that's what I think. They should like train. They should invest in AI, train it so well that they can detect it as well as humans. Because the thing is, people might ask, what's the difference between between like hiring a human being and training an AI? The thing is, an AI, when it's properly trained, when let's say it's at its peak performance. Let's say it can perform as well as a human. The biggest advantage is that AI never gets tired. It never complains. It's just way more efficient. Like a bot detecting another bot is way more efficient than hiring like maybe 20 GMs, 10 GMs, and they have to work 24/7, compared to an AI that can pretty much work perpetually until you want to shut it down, right? So I think games should invest in AI. I'm sure AI is gonna reach that level of intelligence eventually to like help in detecting these things. That's what I think. If they really want to stop, and this is not only for traditional games. This could benefit blockchain games as well.
Of the RMT, that's why there's gold being sold for way cheaper than what you could possibly make money from, even if you're a cutting edge player that's doing
True.
everything and exploiting the fuck out of the game as well. It's because they don't have a cost, they don't have a hour per gold or whatever associated with the stuff that they're making out of thin air. Now, this could have been people like the guy who hacked video games for a living for 20 years, or it could be developers. And at this point, I think that's a bit of a conspiracy, but at the same time, when things like this get confirmed and they are true, you're going to wonder how many companies do it
Have the
just to make
exact
more
same
money.
thing. Yep.
And, because obviously companies aren't fucking squeaky clean, as we all know. Some of them
Nope.
do break laws and do things that are illegal just to make more money. That is a thing that happens. And how many people are just rogue under the radar doing things like this? And essentially,
Yeah,
just
so this is only one person that's from the company. There's other people out there that probably cheating too, and like probably selling gold as well.
slowly chipping away at the game that you're playing and ruining it over time. Okay, I don't know what that phone call was. Don't speak Thai, but apparently there's a delivery or something. Thanks for watching. Video description has like a bunch of links. You can click on them. There's a Discord. That's crazy. There's a Twitch. You can come watch me on there. Probably just playing BDO, talking about how the world is generally on fire and things are bad. Watching videos, just having a grand old time grinding mobs on BDO for hours and hours on end. Twitter, X, all those things. You can send me suggestions on content you want to see me cover, anything like that. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.
All right.
Last
So
minute shopping?
let me pause. Let me mute this. So what are my final thoughts on this? I think RMT is never gonna go away. I'm so sorry to tell you guys, but it's never gonna go away. Botting is never gonna go away. It's here to stay. Like the bots are going to live and die with the game. It's going to live and die with gaming, and that's just the way it is. Because some people, like they're just bad actors. Bad actors exist in the world, and they're gonna do what they want to do. And realistically, we can't stop that. So like I said, one solution is AI training to at least like help with that thing. It's gonna be a really bumpy path, training AI, because the automatic detection systems that we have in our anti-cheat is basically the base form of that. That's where it's gonna start. But like I said in my previous videos, AI today is so much different from the AI that we had in the past. And also there's blockchain. Well, I wouldn't really say blockchain is a solution perhaps, but it is an alternative it is one way to mitigate RMT, because it's like integrated in the system. But like I said, even in Arc World, we don't have direct player to player trading. Everything has to go through the auction house, and the reason for that is whenever there's player to player trading, the company doesn't get a cut out of it. So when we go through the auction house, they always get a 10% cut of everything, and that's good. That's healthy for the economy. That's healthy for the players. That's healthy for the game itself. But yeah, I don't think that blockchain is going to be a one-to-one solution. AI probably. So I think, you know, even blockchain games have bots, even more so in blockchain, I guess, because, you know, it incentivizes people to like earn money. But that's a topic for another video, I guess. So yeah, that's really that was a good video. That's all of my thoughts about it. So don't forget to give Kira a like and subscribe. I'm gonna link the video in the description below. So yeah, tomorrow probably gonna talk about Dark and Darker. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Otskuro! Bye bye!